Alright guys, we need to have a serious talk. It's very important. So this video could get a bit longer, but it's important that you watch all of it, please. So after my last videos about the massive cuts at Meta went live, the comment section absolutely exploded. And I kept reading one thing over and over again. Is VR dead? Is this the end of virtual reality? Or should I sell my Meta Quest? So what follows now is my personal assessment of the situation which the community has asked for. Obviously, no one, not even me, can predict exactly how this will play out. But first of all, I need to step in and clarify something very clearly. VR is not dead, and it never will be, period. What we are witnessing right now is not the end of virtual reality. Maybe some people misunderstood that. It is simply the end of Meta's dominance as we knew it. And that, as harsh as it sounds, might actually be the opportunity we've been waiting for. So take a deep breath. And before you go dumping your Quest on eBay, don't. Seriously, keep it. Why? Let me explain it to you in detail. My name is Thomas and you're watching VoodooDE VR. Let's have some fun with the video and let's go.
VoodooDE.
So Meta has stopped the development of their own major titles. Studios are closed and many extremely talented people from the VR division have been fired. So many people said, well, 1,500 out of 15,000 employees isn't that many. But many people misunderstood that. You have to remember that Reality Labs consists of way more than just VR. It's also AI, smart glasses and other research. So those 1,500 employees were fired exclusively from the VR section of Reality Labs. And that's a complete different story, right? Well, and yes, this means we will most likely not see any more games from Meta on the level of Batman Arkham Shadow. That area of highly polished million or even billion-dollar subsidized exclusives from Zuckerberg, it's most likely over. That is bitter, no doubt about it. But to be fair, you have to admit, Meta invested so much money and took massive losses. It had to end somewhere, right? So no investors will put up with that forever. So the metaverse that Zuckerberg imagined simply won't happen like that. And honestly, wasn't that always clear? I predicted this in my videos years ago. Just like I said that these immense losses couldn't go on forever. Perhaps you've seen my older videos. And now it has happened. Meta is turning to other things. Does that mean your Quest is suddenly a worthless piece of electronic scrap? Oh my god, absolutely not. First, I simply do not believe that Meta will pull the plug on the servers in the near future. I just don't believe that. They can't afford to. Imagine the PR nightmare if millions of headsets stopped working overnight. The damage to their image for their AI and smart glasses division would be suicide. Because people would naturally think, wait, could this happen to my Ray-Ban Meta too? Yes, of course. So the servers stay on. Your library is safe for now. you can still play Population 1, Beat Saber, all the thousands of games that already exist. Yes, okay, maybe some multiplayer servers will be shut down, like we saw that with Echo Arena in the past, or like the recent example of the Supernatural Fitness app, where there simply won't be any more updates. But the absolute majority of content will remain playable. And secondly, and this is the crucial point, the Quest 3 is still one of the best, if not the best headset for PC VR in terms of price to performance. And that might exactly where the weight is shifting now. I can imagine that many developers are getting scared and asking themselves, wait, after this news by Meta, should I still develop for the Quest platform? Or should I move to Steam VR, PlayStation VR 2 or Android XR? Because when Meta retreats, a vacuum is created. And who fills this? Well, Valve is getting ready with the Steam Frame, a device that could perfectly bridge this gap. A hybrid of standalone and PC VR that connects directly to the huge Steam library. So if Valve plays this right, this might be the savior we've been waiting for. And since the games for this platform are developed for Steam VR, we can still play upcoming titles with the Meta Quest. But of course, yeah, connected to a gaming PC, I know. We need a gaming PC. But if this combination works, a PC VR universe made of Quest and Steam VR and some others, then I can imagine we will see high quality VR games again on this platform, PC VR, in the not so far future. Because right now on all the platforms you can see like pretty crappy games, even on Steam VR. So hopefully this changes. And many of you also asked, what about Pico? Could they wake up again? So they held back for a long time because they couldn't compete with Meta's billions in investments. So now that Meta is clearing the field in VR gaming pretty much, Pico might say, okay, let's try this again. The market is open. However, to be honest, Pico would have to catch up a massive amount, right? Then, as mentioned, there is also Android XR. Google and Samsung are lurking in the background, or even Apple. Yeah? Even if it's quiet right now, that game is definitely not over. And maybe, just maybe, Sony might think, well, now that the biggest competitor is gone for now, maybe we should step on the gas. We will see. But do you know what gives me the most hope? The community, the modders. Look at what's happening on PC. Maybe we don't need massive studios taking years to build a VR game anymore. We have the flat to VR modding scene. They take gigantic flat games and bring them into VR. Just to name a few brilliant mods, for example, Alien Isolation, all the Team Beef mods for Doom, Quake, etc., Far Cry VR, GTFO, Half-Life VR mods, various amazing Star Wars VR mods, Subnautica VR, the genius Unreal Engine injector that lets you play almost all Unreal Engine games in VR, and many, many more. By the way, check out my homepage VoodooDE-VR.com, where I've listed the best VR mods. Link is in the description and in the first pinned comment. And the best and most current example, however, is Star Citizen VR. So the VR mod was basically developed by one single person, by Sylvan. He's a nice guy. A game of that complexity made playable in VR without a 500-person studio behind it. That is perhaps the future. Experiencing Cyberpunk, Elden Ring and all these big games in VR, that's what we want, right? And for that, your Quest on PC is still pure gold. And also the fact, combined with VR being used everywhere in business, training, military, medicine and even driving schools, underscores massively that VR is definitely not dead. So perhaps even dedicated PCVR headsets could also see a comeback. Okay, sure, you will tell me times are really tough regarding PC hardware right now, everything is very expensive. Yeah, I know that, but I'm pretty sure the prices will go down because nobody wants to buy that. It's just too expensive. But right now, of course, not everybody can afford a gaming PC plus a high-end PCVR headset. Many people might have to save up for a while, but please consider that, guys. It's really interesting. If you don't know much about PCVR, then stay on this channel. Yeah, I also show a lot of PCVR, like for example Star Citizen VR. Yeah, but when people realize that new good standalone content is dying up, since the Meta platform was by far the biggest driver of standalone VR games, the power of PC might automatically come back into focus. And then you definitely need a gaming PC, guys. Of course, there will still be content developed and released for the Quest platform in the near future. There will certainly continue to be indie developers releasing VR gems. After all, popular games like Walkabout Mini Golf or even Gorilla Tag come from smaller indie studios. But I'm still pretty sure that this content will be firstly less frequent and secondly less high quality. We also have to keep in mind that Meta has ended the planned collaboration with other manufacturers like Asus or Lenovo, who were supposed to use the Horizon OS platform on their new devices. They will not come on the market right now. Crazy. The question remains, will there be a Quest 4? Meta said a while ago, yes, it's in development, but these things are never set in stone, right? So honestly, a year ago, I would have said, of course, 100% a Quest 4. Today, I'm not sure anymore. I'm definitely not sure. If it comes, it probably won't be what we expect, because it will definitely be more expensive, like we've seen the reports about this. It has become less likely that Meta will release another price breaker for gamers. And so the answer to another question that I've been asked a lot, should I even buy a Quest 3 or 3S now anymore? So I wouldn't strongly advise against it right now. So the headset is absolutely top tier. It won't become worthless anytime soon, and the price-performance ratio is unbeatable. So if you want to buy a Quest 3 or 3S, I wouldn't tell you don't do it. But be aware that there might be not the immense flow of content we've had so far. Definitely also not sponsored by Meta, and subsidized by Meta and all the things. Perhaps some indie studios, but that's it. So guys, because of that, also definitely consider looking into PCVR headsets. Like, for example, I love the Big Screen Beyond 2. It's a really nice and tiny headset. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. Or for example, Play for Dream is very nice. You can play wireless PCVR. Or of course the Pimax headsets. They have insane high quality OLED, and there's also the small Dream Air coming with OLED. It's great. And for example, the Samsung Galaxy XR, you can play PCVR very great with them. If you are interested, you can find all the links to the reviews and also discount codes in the description and in the first pinned comment. Definitely consider it. Just watch it, and perhaps I can do you a favor with these reviews and so on. Yeah, and to be fair, despite all the anger at Meta right now, without them, we might not be here today. They pushed VR into the mass market, or at least tried to, more than any other company. They subsidized the hardware so we could afford it. They set the standards. They deserve respect for that. They have my respect, even if the likely end of this area is really painful right now. So, conclusion, even though I'm personally still really shocked. Many people say, Thomas, stop painting everything so black. I've read that in the comments. Well, you know, I've always loved the Quest, and I still love it, and I always recommend it. I would still do it right now. I'm definitely of the opinion that Meta did a lot of good for VR. But this still hit me hard, that someone like Zuckerberg, who held the VR flag so high for that, who even renamed a huge company like Facebook to Meta just for this, is now backing down. And the bad news keeps coming. Now Meta has also ended the developer program and cancelled many other projects. There are news every day about this. That really hurts, because I truly love VR and it's hard for me to just swallow that. So I'm really sorry if I see some things pretty black right now. Yeah, it's just, I mean, other channels perhaps say, of course Meta will come back or so, but look at the facts right now. We don't see that Meta is coming back, not even 1%. So yeah, that's hard. But I'm saying it anyway, chin up. Meta VR gaming might be on ice, but VR as a medium is definitely alive. It's just changing now, away from one corporation controlling everything towards a more open market with Valve, PCVR, mods and maybe new players. So please keep your headsets, enjoy the games you have and look forward to what's coming from Valve, the modding scene and others. It remains exciting and you are in the best place right here on my channel. Yeah? Because now, more than ever, I will report on everything related to VR. So there are channels that only report about Quest or only Apple Vision Pro or only PlayStation VR 2 or something like that. And here on this channel, you get everything from the whole VR market, even smart glasses, weekly news, everything. So definitely make sure to subscribe, because I also think that I have a lot of knowledge about the whole thing. I mean, just see my background here, yeah? And I think that it's worth it that you stay on that channel. Yeah, that's really cool. So, what do you think right now? Are you team PCVR salvation? Do you see doom and gloom? Or do you think Meta might make a strong comeback? Let me know in the comments below, that's very important. If you haven't seen the previous videos on this topic, check the end screen and the description. I talk about which studios were closed and so on. Also, perhaps consider supporting me by becoming a channel member for many benefits like early access to my videos and even WhatsApp VIP. You can even visit my studio and so on. Check out the link in the description. Also, check out my homepage for the VR mods that I talked about. Everything is in the description. Thanks for watching. Don't forget the thumbs up and the sub, and see you next time in virtual reality. See ya!
VoodooDE